Former President Donald Trump was spitting fire at his final rally before Election Day last night. He first went after former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. Let's watch.
She sells her stock. Hours after she sells her stock, they announce that Visa is under massive investigation. The stock goes tumbling down. She's a crooked person. She's a bad person. Evil. She's an evil, sick, crazy. Bad. Oh, no. It starts with a B, but I won't say it. I want to say it.
The convicted former President Donald Trump, of course, couldn't go without mentioning Kamala Harris and the Democrats.
They're just trouble for our country. They're bad, sick people. We will defeat the corrupt system in Washington because I'm not running against Kamala. I'm running against an evil Democrat system. These are evil people.
He also called some of America's past military generals, quote, stupid.
We beat ISIS. 100% of the ISIS caliphate was taken down. And it was done in a matter of weeks. When our stupid generals, our terrible generals, the guys up top like Milley, like Kelly, real losers. Kelly was dumb as a rock. I'll never do that again. I say, give me a letter of resignation.
Well, I agree with everything he said so far. Let's see if we can keep that up. Here's what his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, said when going after Harris at the final rally in Atlanta, Georgia, yesterday.
2 days, we are going to take out the trash in Washington, D.C., and the trash's name is Kamala Harris.
So, what's in a word?
Again, I'm not a Trump supporter or voter, but I agree with everything he just said. The generals are idiots. They were involved in catastrophic foreign policy blunders after foreign policy blunders, and the best thing about Trump is that he tried to break with them. He didn't always succeed at that, which is unfortunate. Maybe he'd do it more successfully in his next term. I guess you can, clutch your pearls over the strong language he uses for Nancy Pelosi, but he was criticizing her over corruption, over thwarting. She was the person most responsible for nuking the Stock Act, the effort to prevent members of Congress from trading in stocks, something most people on both the right and left and center all believes that Congress shouldn't be allowed to do that. And she is very wealthy from trading stocks, and not just those credit companies, but Facebook itself she owns stock in. She's a Silicon Valley adjacent representative. Right, it's her husband who owns it, not her. That's the little way they get around that. But I think going after her for that is very popular.
Everybody has a right to criticize somebody's record and follow the money, and I completely agree with you. That I don't think it should be legal. I think we can agree on that. But
everybody agrees on that.
But,
it's not a, it's
Donald
like
Trump
a 70% issue.
Donald Trump picks these. I love it. Like Mr. Profiting off of the presidency, his friends and family all around him profiting off the presidency is now the arbiter of what good governance is. Okay, it's comical. The fact that he said he defeated ISIS caliphate, that's not true. It's been fact checked. He even had to go back and correct himself in 2019 when he said it, but he's back to saying that.
Well,
it's a.
I wasn't just him. We beat ISIS back into the Stone Age to some degree. Over the Obama administration did, Trump did, Biden did. They occupied a massive territory across the Middle East. Now they occupy almost nothing.
Well,
I'm not solely crediting that to Trump.
Donald Trump, exactly. It's just
military.
He's even corrected himself on that, and he's bringing it back on the campaign trail. Calling your opponent garbage, J.D. Vance, I'm so curious what his wife is thinking, who's not on the campaign trail with him, and neither are his kids. This woman who met him in law school when he was a Democrat, and now listening to this rhetoric come out of his mouth, I question.
What is the need to create marital strife here? I think she probably agrees with him wholeheartedly.
How do you know that?
Well, I guess I don't know it, but
because she's not on the campaign trail, she's not talking.
We're not running to elect her.
Well, usually family and folks come out on the campaign trail.
She made a speech. She's spoken on his behalf. We've heard a little bit from her.
When's the last time she spoke?
Well, maybe she doesn't like. Melania doesn't like the spotlight or like to speak, which is fine.
Neither does Ivanka Trump. They were on stage last night. I don't know about you. I watched this speech at 1 o'clock in the morning. They went on stage at 1 o'clock in the morning, which is wild. Okay.
Yeah.
So the family's up there. Ivanka's not up there. And then I opened up Instagram, and she had just posted last night this whole post about turning 43 this week. Nothing about her father. Nothing about the election tomorrow.
She doesn't want to be involved anymore in the administration. That's fine. She had enough of it. They don't have to be involved.
You can support your
I think
father.
I think she does. I think it's better, frankly, for family members not to be involved in the inner workings of the government. I think putting Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump in charge of large portions of his policy was the first sign that the Donald Trump presidency was going to go awry. It actually drew criticism from a lot of conservatives at the time. I remember that was Ann Coulter's first strong remark against Donald Trump, is that this is nepotism stuff to put your kids in charge of everything, and also that the kids did not support and were not on board with the America First agenda that Donald Trump represented at all. Jared Kushner was a liberal internationalist. So that was a big mistake, and I hope they're not involved. And their supporters hope they're not involved.
I think there's a difference between being in the administration, which I was fully against as well, and tweeting or putting something on Instagram last night during the rally about her life and her birthday and nothing to do with her father's election the next day. That was weird.
Yeah,
I mean, my mom ran for
again,
office.
I want them not involved. I
wasn't involved, but I supported her.
I wish the Bidens were less involved in Biden's decision-making. Biden holding on to power, still clinging to the notion that he could not only be president, but run for re-election because he was surrounding himself with his wife and his son.
We have debated this.
His son, who maybe needs a pardon.
All right, well, guess what? He's not
He's still the
running
president.
for election right now, and now we have Kamala Harris.
He's just running the country.
I don't know about you. I just think that it's an interesting strategy to come on stage at 1 o'clock in the morning, say you have the biggest audience ever, and then these cameras are pulling back and showing the empty crowds. People are leaving because they're like 3, 4 hours. I mean, these rallies are so long, you know it. And then he just bashes women. I mean, it was just a misogyny fest last night.
Well, he doesn't. He bashes specific women.
He bashes all women. I'm going to protect women whether they like it or not.
He's not bashing women as a category. I think that's very unfair. He's bashing specific women. And he doesn't just bash women. He bashes people he dislikes and disagrees with who are women and men. I mean, he's had bad things to say about men in his own party. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, etc. Very graphic, mean things. He's an insult type person. That's what he does. There's no specific, I utterly reject the notion that it's specifically reserved for women. He happens to be running against a woman right now, and he did in 2016, and he's, said nasty things about them, but not because they're women, because they're his opponents.
Well, also they're gendered attacks. They're not, he was trying to say the B word, that was what he was mouthing on stage. No, I was a little nervous about his mouthing because I thought he was going to go for the microphone thing again.
I just don't. How can we take this seriously when he's described by everyone in the resistance as like Cheeto Hitler or something, like his hair mocked, his physical appearance, everything. Well, okay, but
did you see the tan? Like he does it to himself.
Well, that's what I don't understand. Then what is the rule? It's okay to insult Donald Trump. It's not okay to insult female politicians.
We insult him based on what he does. He insulted
he's insulted based on his looks.
Face. Did you see his face on the? Come on.
Again, I think it's fine to make fun of him, but this is just the rule is it's only okay to make fun of Donald.
No, Robby, are we like?
But we can't do. What is it? I don't know what a gendered attack. Calling her the B word.
B word, yeah. Calling him crazy, hysterical. All the things that he's been saying are gendered.
Okay. I've definitely used that word pejoratively against men as well as women.
That's your taste.
All right. We've got a lot more. We're just getting started today. Coming up next, Liz Cheney for Attorney General under Kamala Harris. The ladies of The View really like that idea. We'll talk about it. Stay tuned.